Let's take a closer look, this time through the eyes of Richard Freedman, the expert eyes of Richard Freedman, trackside at Dubai. And Richard, well, just briefly, the duty-free and exciting race, Sunline not disgraced, but the Ugly Duckling got the money.
She ran fantastic, Rod. She ran a huge race. If they'd have left her alone a little bit more early, she might have snuck away with it. I've just been speaking to Trevor McKee, and he was very, very excited and happy about the run, as he should be. And he said he would like to have got one more gallop into her before the race. He thought maybe she was just a touch light on for work, but she ran fantastic. And they're possibly the three best turf horses in the world: Gym and Tonic, Fairy King Prawn and Sunline, and luckily they were the three we mentioned before the race.
Yes, the winner paid about $7.40 here in Australia if you left anything behind for it. Anyway, let's get on. Sorry.
He's an Ugly Duckling, the winner. He's a very, very plain horse. You couldn't buy him in a yearling sale. You really couldn't. He's small. He's got confirmation faults all over him, but what a super racehorse.
Yeah, it's always reassuring when the ugly ones wins. It makes me feel better.
Well, gives you some chance.
Richard, let's look ahead. No good looking behind as we come up to the World Cup. What did you think of the race? Anything catch your eye in the mounting yard?
Well, I had a look at Best of the Bests, and he is the one of the favourites from the Godolphin stable, and he is a super-looking horse. Frankie Dettori in the saddle. I think he's the one that all the locals here have come for, and he's certainly the most widely tipped horse in the race. There's one here with a bit of Captain Steve. There's good opinion about Captain Steve, that he'll run a good race, and certainly American dirt horses do seem to fire very well here on the dirt track. And the one that I guess we're all hoping can do something is number 12 State Shinto, who is trained by John Sadler, who people in Australia will know, trained in Australia for all of his career and has just come to the UAE, and in his first season he has got State Shinto to the World Cup. So let's hope he can do something as well. And
can you give us any leg up for State Shinto, even though betting is closed here?
Well, they did. John Sadler told me, he said, look, if he produces his best, he's a very tricky horse. He's been a horse that other trainers have had here in the UAE, and they've had no luck getting him going. He's a very, very mentally tricky horse. But John's got the key to him and has got the horse to fire. He won his last start very, very well at Nat Al Sheba. And he said, look, if he produces his best, he's an each-way chance.
Well, here in Australia, in New South Wales, we've got joint favourites for the race, Richard. They are Best of the Bests and Captain Steve. They're both $3.40. So I suppose the punters here might have just about got it right.
Well, someone's been getting the mail, because that is how they rate them here as well. So if you've got Best of the Bests or Captain Steve in your betting, then you certainly have got the same opinion on track here. They both look very, very well, both trained to the minute, and they're going to produce their best. In the US, for the US, $6 million. And in Australian money, it's over $12 million. So what a fantastic prize.
Richard, after having been there in the opulence of Dubai, is it going to be hard to come home?
It's an exciting city. It reminds me a little bit of in a similar way to the Gold Coast in Australia. It's a very modern city, very new, lots of new buildings, and for 6 months of the year, the most magnificent climate, beautiful balmy nights and warm sunny days. In the summertime, it's a little bit hot, they tell me. I have not been here for a summer, but they tell me it's very hot. But right at this point in time, you couldn't wish for a more beautiful night than tonight.
Well, listen, you're going to try and talk Lee into opening a satellite stable there, and you could run it?
I don't know about that, Rod, but certainly it's going ahead in leaps and bounds here in the UAE. And, I think next year you're going to see an even bigger event than we have now.
Well, just tell me briefly, what do you see as the future of racing in Dubai?
Well, Dubai is strategically placed. It's 7 hours flying time from London. It's 7.5 hours flying time from Singapore. It's 8 hours from Hong Kong. It's virtually right in the middle of the racing world. So it's strategically very well placed. Its climate allows horses during the northern winter to come here and be trained in beautiful conditions. And we all know that horses do react to their climate, and if the climate is good, the horses do well. So they're trying to court a lot of European trainers and North American trainers to bring horses here, and I think they're being very successful at that. I think you'll see next year a lot more horses from the Northern Hemisphere racing in Dubai over the northern winter, and you know, giving them a full year's racing rather than having to close down for perhaps half the year as they do in the Northern Hemisphere.
And is there any chance at any stage of relenting on the non-betting law?
Well, it is part of the Islamic custom, and that will be difficult to break down. But I think the feeling here is, the general feeling is, with the internet and global communications, it will be very difficult to hold back the tide. If they want to bet, there's certainly that opportunity. And that while it is not their custom and it has not been mooted officially that they will bet, the feeling is that eventually one day that it will happen.
Okay, Richard, well, I know as much as you'd like to stay there, I don't think they can do Racing Retro without you, so hurry home.
One more thing before I go. There was a very, very strong rumour here that Sunline had been sold to the Godolphin stable for the figure that was touted was $10 million US. But I can tell you, I asked Trevor McKee the question, I put it straight on him, and he said, no, I still own her, and I'll own her till she finishes racing.
Well, I think that's a relief for everyone here or in Australasia, isn't it?
I think so. We're going to see her. She's going on a plane to Melbourne on Monday, so people worried about the foot and mouth quarantine scare, that has been resolved, and she is on a plane to Melbourne on Monday.
Okay, Richard, we'll enjoy the rest of your time there, and we look forward to seeing you back in Australia, and have another drink for me there.
Thanks, Rod. I'm really enjoying the night, so I hope the people back the winner of the Cup.
And thanks for your contribution. Richard Freedman, live there in Dubai, and obviously relishing the conditions. There's the parade as the runners are about to go out onto the track for the running of this year's Dubai World Cup. And as Richard suggested, the two favourites are the ones that have come up favourite on Tab Limited. They are number 3, Best of the Best, and number 5, Captain Steve. But a little bit of sentiment as far as Richard is concerned on State Shinto. And as these runners wend their way out on the track, bear in mind this race, run on dirt, which does give the American horses probably an advantage. But there's Best of the Bests with Frankie Dettori on board. And it'll be, I suppose, certainly in Dubai, the sentimental favourite. Hope you're enjoying this coverage of the Dubai World Cup as we join now our coverage in Dubai.
Goes by, we've said and been saying all week that really seemed to be Godolphin's best hope. There is the race favourite right now, America's Captain Steve. America's had great success here in the Dubai World Cup, as you'd expect on their surface. Of course, who'll ever forget John, that first one in 96, Cigar leading a 1-2-3 American sweep. They came back in 98 with Silver Charm.
Yes, but the great thing is they've brought some wonderful horses over, like Cigar and Silver Charm. But also you've had some fine horses from Europe adapt to the dirt, come back into different surfaces. Dubai Millennium equally adept on the turf as he was on the dirt. But it gets us away from having a one-dimensional mind about horses. And I think when you see a race of this is the richest race ever run in the history of horse racing. They'll come here from all parts of the globe to lay down the challenge.
Jerry Bailey, Hall of Famer in America, winner of the first 2 Dubai World Cup runnings of Cigar, and then that amazing event in 97 when Jerry came over. The event looked to be rained out. Jerry went home. Jerry came back and won on Singspiel in 97.
Yes, he certainly got a love affair with this place, having won those first 2 runnings of the race. And what a great jockey he is. His agent Ron Anderson is here, and I'm not sure if Jerry will get him home. He's fallen in love with the place. He wants to stay.
Right. Susie and son Justin are here, and saw him on the beach out at the Royal Meridian enjoying themselves the other day. It really is a great holiday, but now it's work time. After 2, Gary Stevens gallops off in the very famous Juddmonte colours there of Prince Khaled Abdullah, of course, outstanding owner in his own right, one of the world's great owners, Juddmonte Farms.
Well, I think they have an unparalleled breeding operation based both in England, Ireland, and Juddmonte Farms in Kentucky. This horse bred in Kentucky by AP Indy, and certainly he doesn't buy in the sales ring. He breeds the very finest of thoroughbreds and races them in a very discreet manner around the world, and without doubt they are a star organization.
His man, Dr. John Chandler, is here tonight to represent Prince Khaled with Aptitude, and Bobby Frankel thinks he has a big chance. This horse had a bit of a breathing problem, little epiglottic, nothing major, Bobby said, but it ended his racing year last year, and again, this is his first time back. A lot of questions.
Yes, I think if this horse if he'd had a prep race, Aptitude, we're now looking at best of the best, but if Aptitude had a prep race, you'd be a lot happier. Bobby's other horse ran very well third in the UAE Derby, but maybe showing the effects of not having a prep race since last November. Here's best of the best, a little bit warm with Frankie Dettori. A horse who's really taken to racing on the dirt. Turf only until he came here this winter, but certainly won very impressively the other night.
Frankie Dettori been a bit unlucky tonight, has been photoed out on a couple of occasions here, and of course really had the big score last year with Dubai Millennium and got the monkey off his back. He'd had absolutely no joy in this Dubai World Cup. He'd been last 2 or 3 times in the series.
Yes, I think he'd ridden horses like High Rise who were unsuited, drawn 1 and never really got into it, but Dubai Millennium, I think his greatest worry was that the horse was he was going so fast he was going to run off with him. He did it so well.
Best of the best, number 3. Aristotle just jogging by him, and we'll take a look at the betting as Captain Steve John 7-4, now 15-8.
Yes, he's tightened in. Best of the best, drifting a little. He's 2-1. Aptitude at 13-2, 8-1 High Tory, 14-1 Ekra, a little bit on the drift, along with Broche, who's understandable, and State Shinto. It's seen very much as a 2-horse race with Aptitude running for a place. I'd just be tactically fascinated to see what the jockeys do. If they do go too fast, they could set it up for somebody coming off, because they have it in their mind that the speed is holding up tonight and that they don't want to get too far out of it. And remember, this track is triangular in shape, so they go around one bed and then go down a false straight, if you like, on the far side. And if you make your move there, you will not see it out in the lane. You've got to be patient there around the bend.
Number 4, Broche again, in the Godolphin blue colors there. 25-1, David Flores riding.
David Flores, very lucky man. He went and bought himself a watch today because he said he had to give himself a birthday present, but I think he, after winning what he's won tonight, is quite capable. He might go and buy the watch shop now.
Yeah, he has had a spectacular run here in Dubai. Number 8, this is High Tory. Gary Tanaka's colors being carried by, again, Gerard Mousset, who was so brilliant with Jim and Tonic in our Dubai Duty Free, the race just a moment ago.
Yeah, they're very happy with this horse, and that's why they're trying him on the dirt. It's interesting to use that eye cover, but for horses that are inexperienced with the clods hitting them in the face, can put them off their stride from running, and to that extent is probably a good protection for a horse who's never run on the dirt before behind horses like he will be.
Well, they've reached the starting barrier for the 6th running of the Dubai World Cup. $6 million in prize money. The richest thoroughbred race ever run in the world. $3.6 million is the first place prize. We just got a crowd estimate, John, of upwards of 60,000 people. And remember, obviously in the Muslim country, Muslim religion, there is no wagering. They're here for the love of the sport.
They're here for the love of the sport. A wonderful night out to see all these great horses and jockeys from around the world. The new grandstand is absolutely packed. The old grandstand's overflowing. The whole international village is alive. There are people from one end of this track all the way down to the 2.5 quarter-mile marker, and it's just a great atmosphere, and a very happy atmosphere too. You can wander through the crowds here anyway, little kids running around. I mean, talk about family racing.
Absolutely the best. Well, John, who do you like? How do you think the race will be run for the Dubai World Cup of 2001?
Well, I think Jerry Bailey and Frankie on the first 2 in the betting have drawn well that they can watch what happens inside. By the same token, they don't want to get these other boys on the inside get away from them. Jerry Bailey's horse and his ride is the key to the race. If he goes up with the lead, then he sits and dictates the race from there. But he might want to sit off it a little bit. Frankie will be watching him out the corner of his eye. I see it very much between those horses, but if they go too fast, then you'll throw the whole of the race wide open to the form.
Great shot from overhead as they make their circle here behind the starting barrier. And they have a mile and a quarter, 2,000 meters to cover. Frankie Dettori, goggles down, checks him. His thoughts now as he goes into the starting gate, wondering if he can become, as Jerry Bailey was, a repeat champion of this Dubai World Cup back-to-back. Here goes the favorite in, Captain Steve. Notice those red silks, the yellow stripes, yellow and red helmet of Jerry Bailey. And Captain Steve is coming out of one of the outside barriers, number 11. There goes Ekrar, number 7, as he loads in to the third barrier. Number 2, Aristotle from Singapore, and Malcolm Thwaites. He goes into post position number 7. Roche, number 4. David Flores puts the goggles down and wonders, is he due for a triple tonight? The answers are coming away in just over 2 minutes. The 6th Dubai World Cup, 6 minutes.
Racing, the starter quarter with a great line. Captain Steve out wide and to the victory in the centre. Both came out of the gate very quickly. To the victory goes to the early lead with regular members second and Broche third, tucking in on the rail. 2.5 lengths to early warning on the inside of Aristotle and Captain Steve 3 deep around that pair. Another length to Ekrar settling on the fence on the inside of High Tory, best of the best deep. Then State Shinto, See Me and Aptitude had dropped out to the tail of the field. To the victory takes them to the top of the Nat Al Sheba track. Past the mile marker and leads by a length. Broche in second spot with regular member third and the pace is quick. Captain Steve a length away fourth and then Aristotle on the inside of best of the best. Followed by Ekrar, early warning, High Tory, State Shinto. See Me second last is deep and Aptitude 3 lengths away at the tail of the field. To the victory is the leader. Travelling down the side, 1,000 metres left to run. Led by a length and a half over Broche with regular member a half length away third. Captain Steve in fourth spot, but he has worked hard from the word go. Best of the best out deep, Ekrar on the rail. Then State Shinto, High Tory, Aristotle, early warning. Aptitude second last and See Me had dropped out to the tail as the World Cup field comes to the final bend. 650 metres left to travel to the victory. 2 lengths in front of Captain Steve, who rolls up into second spot as they flatten for the run of the judge. Best of the best on the outside. Then Broche, Ekrar, High Tory trying to thread his way through. Aptitude deeper out and then State Shinto to the victory led. 400 metres left to run. Captain Steve comes after to the victory. State Shinto about to run into third spot. It's Captain Steve and to the victory. Battling it up. Captain Steve on the grandstand side. Put his head in front of to the victory. They're clear of State Shinto and High Tory. Captain Steve a length in front of to the victory. Then State Shinto and High Tory. Captain Steve drawing clear. 50 metres left to run and Captain Steve has the Dubai World Cup one. Captain Steve first. To the victory second. Photo third. Might be High Tory from State Shinto. Then See Me, Aptitude, Ekrar. Broche, regular member and further back as they go across the line was best of the bests. Followed home by Aristotle and early warning amongst the last as the field disappears behind the mammoth Nat Al Sheba crowd.
All right, thank you, Terry Spargo. His call of the 6th Dubai World Cup. Jerry Bailey has claimed his 3rd Dubai World Cup prize. Bob Baffert has claimed his 2nd. First for owner Mike Brigham in his first trip to Dubai as Captain Steve wins to the wire here, holding off the front runner to the victory from Japan. And a very strong show performance from young Sheikh Rashid, Red Mohammed Al Maktoum's State Shinto.
Okay, boys, we can go and meet it a little further so we can have more time with the walk back.
Very impressive performance by Captain Steve and Jerry Bailey. And John, as we were watching the race, it looked like Jerry was getting to work a little early on
When
Captain
you watch
Steve.
them down the back straight before this stage, Jerry was riding his horse to hold his position. He was very frightened that the Japanese mare to the victory with the Utaki Taki had stolen a march. Knew the track was riding fast, did not want to let him get away. And he did was a brilliant tactical ride to get back within striking range and wear them down in the lane. But the race went the way we said it would. What he did was the key to the race. The speed was holding up, and he knew he didn't want to let them out of his sight. But brilliant runs from the 3rd and the 4th, proving you can come from off the pace when they've gone that pace. Frankie Dettori on a second favourite, well positioned, but no extra with 2 furlongs to run. And this horse has just outclassed him, but a gritty, gritty performance.
And again, a very international finish, John. America 1, Japan 2, the UAE 3.
Yes, and France, UAE third and fourth. Two turf horses running third and fourth in the Dubai World Cup.
Tim Bob Baffert's assistant trainer, and Jerry Bailey with a big smile on his face. He won the very first running in 1996 on the legendary Cigar. He came back for Sheikh Mohammed to ride Singspiel in 1997. And now in 2001, with the Millennium Grandstand opening tonight as the backdrop, he comes here with Captain Steve. Captain Steve is a 4-year-old chestnut colt by Fly So Free, who was a 2-year-old champion back in America. Sparkling Delight is the dam, a vice regent mare. Roger Laubach in Kentucky was the breeder of this chestnut colt. Captain Steve came here with 20 starts, 8 victories, 2 seconds, and 6 thirds. So 16 of 20 runs, he had been in the money. He was just shy of $3 million in earnings, and now just that quickly, he had $3.6 million to that, and very quickly goes over the $6 million mark in his lifetime earnings.
Yes, he does, and he's deserved every bit of it. I mean, a great horse. He's won the swaps, he's won the Don, he's come here, he's won this. When you use him too early, like they did in the Kentucky Derby, you know, there's no point going through the 3/4 of 9 and change. He dropped out that day, but ridden cleverly today by Jerry. But when we watch the rerun, I'm fascinated to see how quickly Jerry reacted to the Utaki Taki trying to slip the field. He wasn't going to let him get away.
Follow me, boys.
Fine shot of the new grandstand with Jerry coming in, all smiles.
One of the rare class riders and class people anywhere in the world. Maybe the best, most intelligent rider among the great riders. Very composed. He's always been very good working with the press and stuff, and supporting and pushing racing. Very active in so many charitable activities. Great to see someone like this with this kind of success.
Yes, indeed. He's a really class act. You won't meet a nicer guy, and yet you won't meet a tougher professional. He manages to combine both.
Yes, Gary, this way now.
Following up, John kind of outlined the Captain Steve story. He is named for a Louisville police officer when Mike Pegram, after visiting the Kentucky Derby, watching one of Bobby Baffert's horses run, was trying to leave Louisville. A friend had given him a gift. He didn't know what it was, threw it in his travel bag, put it through the security x-ray system. It lit up like all kinds of bells and whistles. Turned out to be a 357 Magnum. Unfortunately, not loaded the gun, but that was enough to earn Mr. Pegram handcuffs and a trip down to the Louisville jail. Bobby Baffert called everybody he could think of. Couldn't do any good. Finally, he remembered a security officer named Captain Steve, who had been assigned by Louisville Police. Gave the captain a call. The captain woke the judge up and worked things out. And out of gratitude, Mike Pegram said, I'm going to name a horse for you. And he picked out this Fly So Free colt, named him Captain Steve. And in a great gesture by owner Mike Pegram, he has flown Captain Steve all around the United States and now halfway around the world to watch every time Captain Steve is on the track. Captain Steve, the policeman, is here as guest of Mike Pegram.
Well, there you are. If you do someone a good favor in your life, look how wonderfully it does you.
If those colors look familiar, by the way, the red and the yellow, those are the colors of McDonald's restaurants, the famed hamburger chain around the world. Mike Pegram happens to own about 24 of those McDonald's restaurants, so he can, I think he can supersize his Happy Meal tonight,
I think
John.
we can go for a triple hamburger now, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Very fine horses, very athletic, very light on his feet. When I watched him work here, he really moves smoothly over the ground. Wonderful action. That's so important in these athletes. He's just reorganizing the flowers with a little kick there. He doesn't want to stand around too long. Horses are sweating a lot now. He'll want to be getting on his way and having a drink of water. It's often hard for them to have these presentations, but he's showing decent composure at this stage. But a really tough, hard performance. I mean, this horse had to dig very, very deep to get past the Japanese filly here tonight. It was not an easy victory. It really went to the bottom of his reserves, and you have to admire the courage of a horse that does that.
You can see the wry smile on Jerry Bailey's face. I think he's realized that Captain Steve's had about all the photos and the flowers and stuff he wants. He's ready to get back to his stall now. He's done his job. He's made his trip. He's run his mile and a quarter. And he is the Dubai World Cup champion of 2001, as well as the new leader, of course, the Emirates World Series Racing Championship. He earns the 12 points for victory, and to the victory becomes the second Dish Stafford to earn points in the World Series, as she collects the second points for her brave second place run. And I believe it was State Shinto, wasn't it? I'm not sure. I was waiting for official.
No,
I
I
was
think
very
it was
close.
High
Was
Tory
it?
just held it by a head. I might be wrong from State Shinto, but there were two horses coming from up the pace, and the horse wearing the face mask, if you like, to cover his eyes, running on to be third. Great performance for a horse that came here to run in a turf, and he decided to switch into the dirt.
Just out of old habits, John and I both turned to look to the infield for the tote board.
I guess we're going to have to get one put in here. They don't have a tote board here, but maybe we could have the numbers come up quicker for us.
I guess so.
There's no doubt about the winner, no doubt about the great training achievement of Bobby Baffert. I had a talk with him earlier. He was saying, you know, that it had been wet in California, he'd missed the work, then he'd gone for a work on a muddy track, worried him about the work, was it right, was it not right? Then he came down and he didn't want to overdo the horse because he wasn't satisfied with the work in California. But there's a guy who's thinking about everything all the time, but he's got it right with this horse. He ran a horse 100% fit.
He was the Don handicap winner. Jerry Bailey will weigh in to make things official. He's already come off the scale, and they have made it official. Captain Steve has won the Dubai World Cup to the victory. Second and High Tory did just edge State Shinto for the third place spot there. So Jerry Bailey receiving congratulations. He'll come back out now for the presentation. And what a great night, a great way to end this Dubai World Cup evening here. We'll take another look here. That is the 5-year-old Japan mare to the victory. Yutaka Taki thinking, wow, am I going to win two here for Japan on the night? Captain Stephen, Jerry Bailey is now. Jerry Bailey starts with a right-handed whip. Seemed to have it measured pretty well, John.
Yes, he had to throw everything at his horse to get there, but what fascinated me, if we ever look at the rerun of the complete race, is how early he was riding this horse to get to hold, to get a position that he could attack the mare from. And she is very speedy, she's very tough. And we said that beforehand, what speed she had, that she was so brilliant on dirt, and she proved it tonight. And a mighty performance. She is getting 2 kilos, but she's a female, she deserves it. And what a brave effort from that horse. He's given it all there, no doubt about that.
Spectacular performance. Bob Baffert watching, seems very composed right there. There's a smile from his face.
He didn't want to get too excited till the horse was past the line. I don't blame him. We trainers are pretty superstitious types.
Jill Moss is very excited for him, certainly, and a hug for the winning trainer, Bob Baffert. And what a super effort that Captain Steve put in. Great job again by Bob Baffert, who comes off, John. I know a lot of the media must wonder about him as we take a look at the official results. He comes off so cavalier and just kind of happy-go-lucky, but he's a serious horseman. I remember him from his quarter horse days at Los Alamitos.
Yeah, he's a brilliant horseman. I mean, a fantastic eye for a horse, brilliant trainer, great feel for them, and a wonderful guy with a wonderful dry sense of humor. I think he's an absolute star of a man.
Yeah, and he's been great for racing in America, certainly. America's champion trainer many times over, 2 times winner of the Kentucky Derby, and now 2-time winner of the Dubai World Cup.
Jerry Bailey.
Oh, I always look forward to this. We've had some great memories through the years. 1996 with Cigar, the 1-2-3 USA finish. 1997 when he was coaxed back after the torrential rainstorm to ride Singspiel. And now 2001, Jerry Bailey, the first 3-time winner of the Dubai World Cup. One of the great jockeys of the world. Jerry, congratulations, heck of a ride.
Thanks, Chris. I didn't want him to forget me over here.
I don't think they could, Jerry. After winning the first 2 legs, and I know you came here with Captain Steve. How would you rate him with the 2 you'd brought over here before to ride?
Well, I guess he hadn't had the fanfare that Cigar had. You know, he had a big winning streak coming over here. And Singspiel was relatively unknown on the dirt. He was more of a turf, so he was rather overlooked. But I think he was the deserving favorite coming into the race. I don't think he was taken lightly by Sheikh Mohammed, any of Godolphin team, or anybody else in the race, as a matter of fact.
Well, catch your breath. I'm going to